Well, with final home game of the year, senior night, or senior afternoon, against Louisiana Tech. We're catching them when they're playing, I think, their best football. They deliver some problems. The structure of their defense. They're 3-3-5, but it's different because they have a robber, a rover, a guy basically it's really hard to get to block, who's a really, really good player, the Fields kid. And so offensively, they're running the ball a lot better than they have all year, not throwing it quite as much as what they did earlier in the year, but the transfer from Coffeyville's a hard runner. Their line's playing well. They've got a lot of speed at wideout. So I think they're going to come in with a lot of confidence, obviously, after last week, their win. And so we're excited about having them here and on senior day for us. But we know that was a big win for them last week. They'll come in with a lot of confidence, I'm sure.
I was wondering if you talked to the team about, obviously you see 4-6 and it's Louisiana Tech's not a big name team, but 3 overtime losses and the loss to Western Kentucky that was playing really good. You talk to them about maybe they're not what their record says they are?
I think we have not, obviously we haven't had our meeting yet today, but I think the big thing there is this game is more about us and how we play. We have to play hard. We have to play hard. We have to challenge ourselves. We've gotten in the past where we've done well at times, we've done not well at times against teams that aren't in our league as far as names on the side of their helmet. And we have to get better. I think the thing that I'll talk about is getting better. Certainly we have 2 games left, not just one. So we have to continue to try to improve, and then our consistency has to be there. So we need to put 2 games defensively where we're flying to the football back to back, and then offensively we've got to take care of the football better. We have to throw, we have to catch it better. We've got to protect it better. There's a lot of things that we got to get better at, especially to win this game. This game will winning, if we can win, it'll allow us for not just another one, but then another one after that. And we just have to continue to improve. So I think that's what we'll talk about a little bit more than even what Louisiana Tech's been able to do lately.
After reviewing the film of Texas, anything jump out to you, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, that maybe was different than you thought or anything like that?
Offensively, we know there were some definite plays in there that, and they forced most of those. We made some mistakes on some of them as well, but the early interception, certainly we've got to catch that ball. We missed a wide open Sategna. Those 2 plays could have changed the outcome, holding on to the ball when we throw the little tunnel screen in there to CJ. Protection wise, one of those was a missed assignment on an empty protection. We slid the wrong direction with the center. We had a couple of missed routes that Talon had to hold the football because we weren't running the correct route. And then we got whipped on the edge a couple of times. So I thought we played pretty well. We had the 1 errant punt, but I thought we played pretty well in the special teams game. Besides that, glad we made our field goal. But offensively, we played extremely hard, not smart all the time. And then when we got into the rhythm, the third and the fourth quarter, the turnover really hurt us there.
And on the other side, you said you'd know more about the secondary play, the changes. What'd you think of that after you watched that?
Larry Worth played a really, really good game. I'm not positive off the top of my head how many tackles he had, but he was very, very physical. Um, Mitchell played well, besides the mistake on the screen and go bubble and go. Let him go there. Our eyes got in the wrong place there. Excuse me. I thought our linebackers tackled well. D line uh, ran hard. I thought we played extremely hard. We tackled. That was one of our better tackling games. And I really liked Stewart. He had a good game, and Hudson Clark probably played as good as he's played uh, in a while at the other corner. So I think the changes that we looked at helped us.
Have you come across Sonny Cumbie very often in the business, and what?
I have not. He, I like him, and from all the interviews that we've watched and different things, he seemed to be an enthusiastic, energetic guy, and he's doing a nice job there at Louisiana Tech. But I really haven't ran across him much.
Where are things standing with the plan to redshirt Patrick Kudus? And are you expecting to use him this weekend?
Well, when Pat came back, I had that conversation with him about redshirt, and as we all know, whether we play him, and we'd like to do that. Whether we play him this week and don't play him against Missouri, he only has one left. It's still up in the air, but our plans are to do what we told the young man we'd do, and that's to redshirt him. Whether that's next week or whether that's this week, we'll just have to wait and see how we are health-wise and all that.
And then on Saturday, you said you were hoping to have Selman Bridges and Anthony Switzer back. Today, do you know yet if they're good to go starting the week?
From what I'm told this morning and in our staff meeting, both of them will be back.
And what about Braxton? Any chance for this
No.
week? No. That 3-2-6 defense you guys ran against Tennessee and Texas a lot. Two of the better defensive performances. I know you also ran it a little bit against Ole Miss and LSU. What about that defense might prevent you guys from using it more often as a base set?
Well, I think when you do that, you're daring people. You're saying, you're telling them we're way more concerned about your wideouts and your quarterback than you are your running back game, and you're saying, hand it off, hand it off, hand it off. So there are some teams that you play that they're going, okay, we're going to handle it off, and 3 years ago against Georgia, they said, okay, we're going to hand it off 40 times and you better change, and so it has really worked for us because of personnel. And so I think you'll see more and more of that defense for us because we have proven for the most part. They had a pin and pull series Texas did that hurt us. But other than that, I felt like we handled the run game there in Tennessee well.
You mentioned Larry and Miguel earlier. Those guys transfers, slow starts to their career. How have they maybe most improved, or what kind of prevented them from getting on the field a little bit earlier this season?
I think two totally. Miguel was suspended for a while, and then with Larry, we finally found a position that is his. I mean, what he does the best. We'd went through inside the box. We'd went to hog. Finally, when we put him back there and let him roam at safety, I think we found his spot. So part of that is us. We've got to do a better job of finding that faster. But those are the two reasons.
First time in a while, you won't have to do one of the availability reports this week. Just curious, now that you're this far into the season, what have you thought of having those, both from y'all's side and then seeing what's happening in SEC play with the other teams?
Yeah, I still think it's depend on who the coach is, what they put out there. Sometimes there's a list this long, and sometimes there's a list like that. But we certainly look at it. and then we say, is this really true? And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Kids seem to get healthy quickly, at times. And so yeah, I like it myself because y'all know and the public knows, and you pretty much know whatever it says on there for us is what it is.
Another quick injury, Braylon, do you anticipate him being able to maybe do some more in practice and get amped up and ready
I
to
think
play?
that's the whole thing with Braylon. I mean, he really didn't get completely okay. Everything will be okay with him until Friday. And so, you know, missed a lot of full speed reps, and certainly with having JJ back and all that, it would affect his reps some anyway. But if he's healthy, we'll certainly use him. He's a good player.
And you've got another former player coming back in Zach Zymas.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him on film, and just what do you remember about his time here?
He'd hit you. I mean, when he hit you, you got stuck. Certainly playing a different position than we had him here. But I like Zach, I always have, and I'm happy for him. And I think he's one of the leaders over there. He's played a lot of ball, and I'm just really happy for him. He's doing a good job, and he'll hit you now. So we'll have to figure that out.
And this is a little bit of a random question, but on the broadcast on Saturday, they made a point to point out the tall grass out there on the field. Is that something y'all wanted? Is that by design, or?
No, I think the broadcasters, I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, I don't know, regulation grass, but we didn't have it up higher than what anybody else were playing, I don't think. They had come up with something to talk about, maybe.
I guess for yourself personally, what would, I guess, making a bowl this year at 6-6 or 7-5 mean to you?
It means something to the team. I mean, that'd be 4 out of 5, and yeah, I mean, it'd be a lot better than not, so I think our kids still enjoy going to postseason. There was several years when they didn't. And so 4 out of 5 opportunities or invites, that'd be good.
Sam, you mentioned senior day, and of course, senior days changed a lot. You got some guys that have been here 6 years. You got some guys that have been here 1 year or 6 months or whatever. I guess whatever it is from January. What does senior day mean to you now?
Anybody who puts in the work for a team and it's their last home game or whatever, there's always a strong emotion that goes into that because you love them, and but it's also different feeling because now this young man's getting ready to go off and do something else, whether it be in the business world, whether it be in the NFL, and like Hudson Clark and Eric Gregory. Those are 2 guys that have been here for 6 years, and so the guys that are loyal, Landon Jackson could have left and went to the NFL or could have went in the portal, and he didn't. So, each one of them are a little bit different, but um, um, just very grateful for the guys that came back and the hard work and energy and effort and loyalty that they had to the program.
If you're kind of summing up the senior class, at least to this point of the season, whether, Quentin Jackson's been here first year, but he's had a good year when he's healthy, and and you allude to the 6-year guy. Just what would you say about this year's senior class, how they've contributed?
Well, I think they've done extremely well. The guys that came back are playing for us, and the guys that we get brought in from the portal for the most part are playing for us, and have had a lot of reasoning for our success when we've had it, and so I don't know.
I was wondering if there's anybody that's walking senior day that's maybe has eligibility left.
Yeah.
See that every once in a while.
Braun, Josh Braun, would be the one that certainly would like to have him back. But he's going to walk, which, that doesn't mean a whole lot. The rest of them that are walking, I don't expect to come back.
But Ron still could come back.
Ron could come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any chance on Braxton to be back this year?
Yeah. If he doesn't practice, we're running out of time. I'm saying possibly, the bowl, but it's just not getting better.
Is it time to have the conversation with Talon about, does he want to come back? I mean, certainly y'all probably want to have him back. Talon?
Probably not. So you'll know Monday after the Missouri game, I've got 6 guys that I'm going to bring in and talk to myself, or coaches are going to talk to, their players. But there's 6 in there that I want to sit down and talk to, and certainly you could probably imagine who they are, and they would be juniors, and really what I'm going to do is talk to them about their draft status, and then talk to them about coming back, and certainly try to figure out how we can get them to come back.
Sorry, one more injury, quick. Anton Junkaj, how's he?
Yeah, I still think he's probably, in all honesty, probably at least a week away. I don't anticipate him really being healthy this week.
You've been in Northern Illinois and Cincinnati before they got in the power league. I guess what I'm getting at is you've been on the other side of games like this.
Yeah.
And I guess you guys won it at Alabama that one year.
Yeah.
Tom covered that, I think. Just kind of what from the other side's approach or perspective, what's that like based on your experience?
Oh, it's exciting. They get to go into, they all have a chip on their shoulder, because probably most of them, and I'm not saying all, but most of them, Arkansas didn't offer a scholarship to, and that was always a big deal at Northern, Western Michigan, Cincinnati back in the day, and that was always a big driving, emotional, to go in and play the big dogs, at the time, and certainly you'd have great weeks of practice, and so emotionally and as far as the week goes, I'm sure they'll be ready to rock and roll, and at least for the most part, when I was at those, at the non-Power 5 schools, that's kind of what our kids thought. And Louisiana Tech plays extremely hard, so I don't know if they can play any harder than what they're doing right now, but they'll come in here ready to roll.
Yeah, I was reading Cumbie's post-game comments, and he was saying, I'm paraphrasing here a little bit, but he was really proud. They're 3-6, and they go in and beat their conference leader on the road, and he just appreciated how hard they play. I guess as a coach, watching them and knowing what they did, I guess how much does that impress you?
Big. I mean, big. In a nutshell, really, they did to Western Kentucky what they're trying to do to us. You know what I mean? They had that emotional, hey, we're sitting here 3-6, they're the big dogs, and so they used that during the week, and their kids played extremely well, both sides of the ball. Their defense has been playing lights out the last 3. I know Jack State scored some points, but they played well in that game as well.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your #1 source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.